Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals looked terrible against the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson, only putting up 3 points, and Joe Burrow, after signing that over $250 million contract.
$55 million a year.
It's insane. He put up his career low 82 passing yards in the loss to the Cleveland Browns. So I want to know, are you more surprised about the Browns' dominance or more about the Bengals' struggles?
Again, the Bengals to me looked like they weren't ready to play. I don't know what it was. The Browns were fired up. I guess they were playing at home. They've got their new logo, the dog, and the fans were fired up. They're making a lot of noise. But the weather was lousy, right? The weather was lousy. But Burrow, he did nothing in the preseason, right? He was hurt for most of it. So he just didn't look like he was ready to play or knew where he was going with the ball. And they had a lot of pressure on him. He looked very frustrated and disappointed over there on the sideline. I couldn't believe how poorly he played. I picked them to win. I thought they would win. They got smoked. Right? They did. What was the final score?
24-3.
24-3. They didn't even score a touchdown.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson, on the other hand, had a pretty good game, right?
He did have a pretty good game.
He was down there. He did that running touchdown. He was playing the guitar there. He was, dancing on the sideline there when he scored. He was having a good time. I was surprised he played that well against the Bengals defense, which is supposedly very good.
They have a few dogs on defense, the Bengals do. I think this is a lot about, what we saw in the preseason. We saw in the Hall of Fame game, Browns Jets. Now understand,
was a nothing game.
But I said, is this a sign to come if the Browns could run the hell out of the ball? Well, they rushed for 206 yards, 5.2 yards a carry, and a touchdown. Yeah. I think, it was kind of a sign of things to come. Deshaun Watson didn't need to do all that much. He did have an interception. However, he had 150 yards and a touchdown. He actually didn't have that good of a pass rating, 67.3. But he actually had a pretty good QBR scale, 0 to 100.
That running touchdown was pretty good.
Yeah, no, he four carries for 45 yards, 9 yards a carry and also a touchdown, like you just said. Nick Chubb had a great game, over 100 yards rushing. Elijah Moore, former Jet, had an okay game, 43 yards on 3 catches. However, I think this says more about the Browns, actually. I don't think this says much about the Bengals because last season the Bengals went 0 for 2, and statistically, analytically, you had basically an 11% chance to make the playoffs after starting 0-2, and I said the Bengals going to miss the playoffs. I was very wrong. The Bengals were part of that 11% that go 0-2 and make the playoffs. So, I don't think this says much. I picked the Browns to win just based on Joe Burrow's record in Week 1 and also his record against the Browns. He's 1-4, I believe, against I don't have the exact number in front of me, but I think he's 1-4 against the Browns, and he's 1-2 and now 1-3 in Week 1 games. And he also doesn't look that great in Week 1 games, as shown in this game against the Browns. The same problems still arise for the Bengals. Their offensive line is not that good. They just released one of their offensive linemen they signed, I think, a year or two ago, Lyle Collins. He was on the PUP list. He got released today. However, Orlando Brown didn't have a great game blocking. The Browns, on the other hand, they did lose one of their offensive linemen, a pretty good offensive lineman. He'll be out for an extensive amount of time. But, the Browns defense, this shows a lot about just, I think Zadarius Smith is on the Browns defense. You still got Myles Garrett. Your secondary looks great, shutting down Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. So, I got to give it to the Browns defense. This says a lot, and I can now understand why maybe the Browns, they were 9.5 win-loss, over under, the 9.5 win-loss. This could be why. They looked really good, and Deshaun Watson, I think he's building up to what he used to be on the Texans, that 4,800 yards the last time we see him. Yes, he did go 4-12 in that season, but he had 4,800 yards. So if we have that Deshaun Watson back, I guarantee you we're going to be seeing a pretty good Browns team that I'm not saying fights for, that top spot in the AFC North. But with the Ravens losing their top running back and losing an important offensive lineman, there's a potential chance the Browns take that second spot over the Ravens. Or, let's say the Ravens get the first spot, having a spot over the Bengals.
How about the Bengals?
Yeah, no, either one of those.
I think they'll bounce back. Last year they started slow too.
0-2,
right?
Yeah.
They had a problem last year when the first couple of games. I probably should have remembered that and maybe picked the Browns. I just don't see how I can pick the Browns. They've been so bad for so long. Maybe they've changed. I don't know. Maybe the new logo will do it for them.
Well, they have like what is that, an elf in the middle of the field? I'm not sure. Is that an elf? Because I know I think it was Jamar Chase. They called him. He called the Browns elves. But they have this brand new logo in the middle of the field. I
didn't see it.
I think it's an elf. I'm not entirely sure though. So I mean, for me, the Bengals are going to bounce back just like they did last year, at least in my eyes. Like I said, they started 0-2 last season. They bounced back and had an opportunity to go to another Super Bowl, but fell short. The Browns, on the other hand, what happened the past couple seasons? Baker Mayfield, now you signed Deshaun Watson, but you had to deal with Jacoby Brissett most of the year. Deshaun Watson comes back, still looks rusty. Major questions going into this season. Deshaun Watson looks okay, but rushing for 200 yards definitely helps the fact that, we right now Deshaun Watson's still a smokescreen because it doesn't have to be. He's not the one making these big-time plays. The running game helped you out massively, and also your defense definitely stopping the dynamic and dominant Bengals offense. So I'm going to give this one to the Browns. This is more of a Browns win than a Bengal loss, at least in my eyes. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.